Gentlemen, stop. Whatever you're doing right now, stop and listen. Because what I'm about to tell you could save you years of wasted time, thousands of dollars, and more emotional damage than you can imagine. Every single day, men are walking into relationship minefields blindfolded. They're investing their time, their energy, their emotional capital into connections that are draining them dry. And the worst part? Most don't even realize it's happening until they're already deep in the quicksand. Today, we're going to rip off that blindfold. We're going to arm you with the knowledge to spot the critical differences between a high-value woman who will elevate your life and a time waster who will leave you depleted and wondering what the hell happened. This isn't about being harsh. This isn't about judging. This is about protecting your most valuable assets, your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. Because here's the truth, nobody wants to tell you. Not every connection is worth pursuing. Not every attraction is worth following. And not every woman who shows interest in you deserves access to your life. Think of yourself as a fortress. You wouldn't let just anyone past your gates without knowing their intentions, would you? Yet when it comes to relationships, most men throw those gates wide open at the first sign of attraction. Today, that changes. I'm going to give you 3 key differences, 3 critical distinctions that separate a high-value woman from someone who will waste your precious time. These aren't surface-level observations. These are deep, psychological patterns that reveal someone's true character. Master these, and you'll navigate the dating world like a seasoned captain navigating treacherous waters with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Ready? Let's dive in. Emotional investment versus emotional vampirism. A high-value woman understands that emotional energy is like currency in a relationship bank account. She invests. When you share something important with her, she doesn't just listen. She engages. She remembers. She follows up. When you tell her about that important presentation at work, she texts you good luck the morning of. When you mention your mother's birthday's coming up, she asks how the celebration went. But here's what's even more important. She invests her own emotional energy, too. She shares her dreams, her fears, her ambitions, not as manipulation, not as drama, but as genuine connection. She's building something with you, not extracting from you. Think of her like a skilled gardener. She doesn't just take from the soil, she enriches it. She waters, she nurtures, she helps things grow. Your conversations leave you feeling energized, not exhausted. Your time together adds to your life force rather than draining it. The time waster, the emotional vampire. Now, the time waster? She's an emotional vampire, and brother, she's thirsty. Every interaction is about what she can extract from you. She needs constant validation, constant attention, constant reassurance. But here's the kicker. She gives nothing back. When you share something meaningful, she immediately redirects the conversation back to herself. Your promotion at work? That reminds her of how her boss doesn't appreciate her. Your friend's wedding? That triggers a rant about how all her friends are getting married except her. She treats you like an emotional gas station. She pulls up when her tank is empty, fills up on your attention and validation, then drives off until she needs another refill. And you? You're left standing there, depleted, wondering why every conversation feels like running a marathon. The psychology behind it. Why does she act this way? The high-value woman has done the work. She's developed emotional intelligence and self-awareness. She understands that relationships are about exchange, not extraction. She's secure enough in herself to give without keeping score, but wise enough to expect reciprocity. The time waster. She's operating from a place of emotional poverty. She's trying to fill a void inside herself with your energy because she hasn't learned to generate her own. She's not necessarily evil. She's empty. and empty people will drain you dry, trying to fill themselves up. The danger zone. Ignore this difference at your peril, gentlemen. An emotional vampire won't just waste your time, she'll waste your soul. You'll find yourself constantly exhausted, constantly giving, constantly feeling like you're not doing enough. Your own goals, your own dreams, your own needs, they'll get buried under the avalanche of her constant emotional demands. How to spot it? Want to know which one you're dealing with? Here's your battlefield test. Share something moderately important about your life. A goal you're working toward. A challenge you're facing. Watch what happens next. Does she ask follow-up questions? Does she remember it days later? Does she offer support or insight? That's your investor. Or does she immediately pivot to her own problems? Does she minimize your experience to maximize hers? Does she forget what you told her by the next conversation? That's your vampire. And brother, it's time to put up the garlic and crosses. The second critical difference is how she approaches life's challenges. And gentlemen, this one will determine whether she pulls you up or drags you down. A high-value woman treats life like a training ground, not a battlefield where she's always the casualty. When challenges arise, and they will arise, she asks herself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? Lost her job? She's updating her resume and reaching out to contacts, not wallowing in self-pity. Friend drama. She's examining her role in it and setting better boundaries, not playing the perpetual victim. Relationship issues? She's willing to look in the mirror and ask what she can do differently, not just pointing fingers. This woman is like a master blacksmith. Every challenge is just raw metal to be forged into something stronger. The heat doesn't destroy her, it refines her. And here's the beautiful thing. When you're with a woman like this, her strength becomes your strength. Her growth mindset is contagious. You find yourself leveling up just by being in her presence. She doesn't expect you to be perfect, but she does expect you to be growing. And she holds herself to the same standard. This creates what I call an upward spiral. You're both constantly evolving, constantly improving, constantly becoming better versions of yourselves. The time waster? Oh, she's got a PhD in victimhood, and she's writing her dissertation on why nothing is ever her fault. Every story she tells casts her as the innocent protagonist, unfairly wronged by the cruel world. Her ex, narcissist. Her boss, sexist. Her friends, jealous. Her family, toxic. Notice the pattern. In her narrative, she's never the author of her own misfortune. She's always the helpless victim of circumstances beyond her control. But here's where it gets dangerous for you. Once you're in her life, you become part of her victim story. First, you're the hero who's going to save her from all this injustice. But the moment you can't fix all her problems, and trust me, you can't, you become the next villain in her endless tragedy. The growth-minded woman has developed what psychologists call an internal locus of control. She believes she has power over her life's direction. This doesn't mean she thinks she controls everything, she's not delusional. But she focuses on what she can control, her responses, her choices, her actions. The victim-minded woman has an external locus of control. Everything happens to her, never because of her choices. This mindset is comfortable because it absolves her of responsibility. If nothing is her fault, then she never has to change. She never has to grow. She never has to do the hard work of self-improvement. Partner with a professional victim, and you're signing up for a life sentence as her unpaid therapist, life coach, and emotional punching bag. You'll spend your energy trying to solve problems she has no intention of fixing. Why? Because her problems are her identity. Without them, who would she be? Even worse, her victim mentality will start to infect you. You'll find yourself making excuses, blaming others, playing small. Why? Because growth threatens her. If you're growing and she's not, it highlights her stagnation. So she'll subtly, or not so subtly, sabotage your progress to keep you at her level. Want to identify which mindset you're dealing with? Listen to how she talks about her past relationships and current challenges. Count the number of times she says, "I learned" versus "they did this to me." Ask her about a recent challenge and what she's doing about it. The growth warrior will talk about actions and plans. The victim will talk about feelings and blame. Here's the ultimate test. Share one of your challenges with her. Does she help you brainstorm solutions? Does she encourage your growth? Or does she try to out-victim you, turning your challenge into a competition about who has it worse? The third and final difference, and gentlemen, this one separates the queens from the court jesters, is how she approaches her own life's direction. A high-value woman has a vision for her life. She knows where she's going, or at least she's actively figuring it out. She has goals, real goals, not just vague wishes. She has plans, actual strategies, not just daydreams. This doesn't mean she has everything figured out. She doesn't need to have a 20-year plan mapped out in detail. But she has direction. She's moving towards something, building something, creating something. Maybe she's advancing in her career. Maybe she's building a business. Maybe she's mastering a skill or pursuing a passion. The key is this. She's the captain of her own ship. She's not waiting for someone else to chart her course. She's not looking for a man to give her life meaning. She has meaning, and she's looking for someone to share the journey with. When you're with a woman like this, you become allies in pursuit of greatness. You support each other's missions. You celebrate each other's victories. You create what I call a power couple dynamic. Two complete individuals choosing to combine their strengths. Think of it like two rivers flowing in the same direction. When they merge, they don't lose their individual power. They create something even more powerful. That's what happens when two purpose-driven people come together. The time waster is like a leaf in the wind, blown in whatever direction life pushes her. She has no vision, no goals, no direction. Her life is a series of reactions to external events rather than purposeful actions toward a chosen destination. She changes jobs every 6 months, not because she's climbing a ladder, but because she's constantly running from something rather than to something. She starts projects, but never finishes them. She makes grand declarations about what she's going to do, but there's no follow-through. But here's the real danger. Because she has no purpose of her own, she'll try to make you her purpose. You become her hobby, her project, her reason for being. Sounds romantic? It's not. It's suffocating. It's the relationship equivalent of quicksand. The more you struggle to maintain your own identity and goals, the deeper you sink into her neediness. The purpose-driven woman has developed what I call existential courage, the bravery to decide what her life means and to pursue that meaning despite uncertainty. She's taken responsibility for creating her own fulfillment rather than expecting it to come from external sources. The drifter. She's operating from existential fear. Making choices is scary because choices mean responsibility. Having goals means risking failure. It's easier to drift, to react, to let life happen to her rather than taking the wheel. Often she'll mask this with pseudo-spiritual language about going with the flow or seeing where life takes her. But there's a difference between flexibility and aimlessness, between adaptability and absence of direction. Attach yourself to a woman without purpose, and you'll find yourself becoming her purpose by default. Your goals become obstacles to her need for attention. Your ambitions become threats to her security. Your growth becomes a source of her anxiety. She'll create drama to fill the void where purpose should be. She'll manufacture crises to feel important. She'll sabotage stability because chaos is all she knows. And slowly but surely, she'll pull you into her whirlpool of purposelessness. Want to know which one you're dealing with? Ask about her 5-year vision. The purpose-driven woman will light up. She'll share her plans, her dreams, her strategies. They might not be perfect, but they're hers. The drifter? She'll either have nothing to say, or she'll talk in vague platitudes about being happy or finding herself. Press for specifics, and she'll get defensive or change the subject. Here's another test. Watch how she spends her free time. Is she investing it in growth, learning, creating? Or is she consuming? Endless scrolling, endless shopping, endless drama. Gentlemen, you've just been handed the map to navigate one of life's most treacherous territories. These 3 differences, emotional investment versus vampirism, growth mindset versus victim mentality, and purposeful action versus chaotic drift. These are your compass, your North Star, your guidance system. But knowledge without action is worthless. So here's what I want you to do. First, take an honest inventory of your current relationships, not just romantic, all of them. Who's investing in you versus draining you? Who's growing versus playing victim? Who's purposeful versus drifting? This awareness alone will transform your life. Second, look in the mirror. Are you being a high-value man? Are you emotionally investing, growth-minded, and purpose-driven? You can't attract what you're not willing to become. Third, set your standards and hold the line. No more settling. No more excusing red flags. No more sacrificing your peace for someone else's chaos. You deserve a partner who adds to your life, not one who subtracts from it. As we close this out, I want you to understand something fundamental. This isn't about being judgmental. This isn't about thinking you're better than anyone else. This is about recognizing your own value and protecting it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. You are not a rehabilitation center for broken people. You are not an emotional gas station for energy vampires. You are not a life raft for those who refuse to learn to swim. You are a man with goals, dreams, ambitions, and purpose. And you deserve a partner who matches that energy, who amplifies that power, who celebrates that strength. The high-value woman isn't perfect. She's not a unicorn. She's not a fantasy. She's a real person who has done the work to become emotionally intelligent, growth-minded, and purpose-driven. And when you find her, when you recognize these qualities, you'll know you found someone worth investing in. But remember, you've got to be the person you want to attract. You've got to embody these qualities yourself. You've got to be the high-value man who recognizes and attracts the high-value woman. Your time is limited. Your energy is precious. Your life is valuable. Stop wasting it on people who don't deserve it. Stop settling for connections that drain you. Stop accepting less than you deserve. You now have the knowledge. You have the tools. You have the power. Use them. Apply them. Live them. Stand tall. Stand strong. Stand in your worth. Because when you do, when you truly embody these standards, you become unstoppable. You become magnetic. You become the kind of man that high-value women are looking for. This is your life. This is your journey. This is your destiny. Own it. If this message resonated with you, if this knowledge opened your eyes, then do something about it. Share this video with a brother who needs to hear it. Drop a comment about which difference hit home the hardest. And subscribe to this channel, because we're just getting started on this journey of masculine excellence. Remember, you're not just looking for someone to be with. You're looking for someone to build with. Choose wisely. Choose powerfully. Choose like your life depends on it. Because it does. Stay strong, gentlemen.